my dear children. Welcome back to English class by Sri Gokulam Public School, Guruvayur. I am Sabita Joseph, your English teacher. Children, how are you? Are you fine? Very good. Okay, I hope last day you have watched the lecture videos and watched the animation video, and hope you all read the textbook, isn't it? Yes, very good. So every day you need to read the textbook. So what was the title of our lesson? Yes, Adventure in the Andamans. And who is the main character? Manav. And there is an animal. Who is that? Yes, that is Tiny Turtle. Okay, so today I will read and explain this story. So all of you take your textbook, page number 25, lesson 3, Adventure in the Andamans. What I am about to tell you happened many years ago. I was just a young boy, and the Andaman Islands were my vacation playground every summer. So here we can see the narrator is telling the story, and he's telling that this incident happened many years ago. Okay, so Manav and his parents, they usually go to these Andaman Islands in every summer to spend their vacation. So what is an island? Yes, it's a place which is surrounded by the sea or water. Okay, last day I told you. Then, Manav, please don't go in too deep. My mother shouted from her spot on the beautiful sunny beach. Here we can see another character. Who is that? Yes, that is Manav's mother. What is she saying? Yes, she is saying that Manav, please don't go too deep. So mother is warning him, don't go deep in the sea. Yes, ma, I replied. So Manav said, yes, ma, I will not go too deep in the water. I loved the beach and the ocean was home to me. When I used a snorkel, I pretended I was entering a secret world filled with mysterious creatures. Okay, so Manav is saying that I love this beach. This beach is like a home to me. And he's saying that when I used a snorkel, what is the snorkel? Snorkel is a special tube that you hold in your mouth to help you breathe if you are swimming with your face underwater. And he's saying that he was entering to a secret world filled with mysterious creatures. So what do you mean by mysterious? Mysterious means something that we cannot understand and something that is very secret. So there are different plants and different fish, animals are there under the sea. Okay, then that morning, I floated on my back for a while, enjoying the warm sunlight, and then I put my head under the water again. The next moment, I felt something touch my shoulder. Okay, so that morning he went for the swim in the sea, and he started swimming. That time, something touched on his shoulder. What is that? Yes, a turtle, a tiny turtle. I shouted to myself through my bulky mask. So that was a turtle, and he named that turtle as Tiny Turtle. Okay, that was the thing which touched his shoulder. And he's saying that I shouted to myself through my bulky mask. What do you mean by bulky? Bulky means large. Yes, this mask is very large for him, and he shouted, yes, a turtle. Okay. I followed him through shoals of tiny fish and hundreds of other glorious rainbow-colored fish. And then what happened? Yes, he followed the shoals of tiny fish. What do you mean by shoals? Shoals means a large number of fish swimming together. Okay, so he followed that shoals and hundreds of other glorious rainbow-colored fish also. What do you mean by flipper? Flipper means a flat arm-like part used for swimming by sea animals like turtles and whales. Okay, it's like a arm-like part. They usually swim with this flippers. Okay, so he felt that he touched the flipper of that turtle. Yes, then Manav and the turtle, they swam together. After some time, I decided to put my head above the water to clear my mask while Tiny the turtle crunched some green seaweed. I looked back at the beach. So after some time, he decided to put his head above the water to take a breath. Okay, then he put his head above the water. That time, the tiny, he crunched some seaweed. Crunch means he was eating some seaweed, some sea plants under the ocean. Okay. Then, my mother will be worried, Tiny. I have to go, but I'll be back tomorrow. Okay. It's hard to explain, but I think Tiny smiled at me. So, this Manav told Tiny that, Tiny, I have to go. My mother is waiting at the beach. So, I'm going now. We'll meet tomorrow. Okay. Then he felt this Tiny is smiling at him. Then I didn't tell anyone about my turtle, and that night I dreamt about Tiny showing me the whole nation. Tiny showing me the whole ocean. The next morning, I almost dragged my parents to the beach and then quickly wore my rubber flippers and wobbled into the clear blue water. When Manav reached his home, he didn't tell this matter to his parents, and that night he dreamt about Tiny. What was the dream? Yes, he dreamt that Tiny is showing the whole ocean to him, and he saw many things under this water. This is the dream he saw. Okay, so the next day he was eager to go to the beach and meet Tiny Turtle. And what you meant by wobbled? Wobbled means moved in a way that shows poor balance. Okay, so next day he went to the beach and wobbled into the clear water. Be careful, Manav, called my mother as usual. Of course, Ma, I replied. I swam out to a safe depth and then waved to my parents. When I reached my usual area near the big black rocks, Tiny was waiting. My heart missed a beat as he smiled at me again and then asked me to follow him. Not with words, of course, but I just knew. Okay, so when he went to the sea, as usual, his mother told him, be careful. Okay, then Manav said, okay. Then he swam out to a safe depth, that is, he started to swimming and he waved to his parents. Then when he reached the usual area, that is a black rock there, when he reached there, he saw that Tiny was waiting for him. He was very happy. Here you can see the word, my heart missed a beat. What do you mean by that? Yes, it means suddenly felt excited or frightened. When he saw Tiny, he felt excitement. Okay, it means they became friends. This Tiny and Manav, they became friends. And then Tiny took me on a magical journey. We swam through giant coral leaves, glided past slimy eels, and saw thousands of starfish resting on a rock. But Tiny saved the best until last. Basking in the reflection of the summer sun, I discovered a whole family of turtles. Then what happened? Then Manav and Tiny, they started to swim together. Tiny showed the magical world under this water. And here we can see the word coral reefs. What is coral reefs? Which means coral reefs, underwater habitats where fish, coral and seaweed can be found. Here you can see the image of coral reefs. They swam through this giant coral reefs, glided past slimy eels. Here you can see the slimy eels. Okay, so they glided past the slimy eels and so thousands of starfish, they were resting on a rock. Tiny saved the best until last. Basking in the reflection. What do you mean by basking? It means lying in a place that is warm. Here you can see the basking reflection of the summer sun under this ocean. There, Manav discovered the whole family of this turtle. Okay, this was Tiny's family. Yes, I was dizzy with excitement. After a few moments, I thought it best to thrust my head out of the water and get some fresh air. Then, as I plunged back down to join Tiny, I nearly choked. I saw him twisting and turning in a session of fishing net, a silver hook planted firmly in his back left leg. Okay, so there Manav saw the Tiny's family, that is the turtle family is there. He felt dizzy. What do you mean by dizzy? Dizzy means faint. He became faint by seeing the turtle family because a lot of turtles are there. After few moments, he thought he needed some fresh air, so he put his head above the water to get some fresh air. Then when he plunged back down to join Tiny. What do you mean by plunged? It means jumped or dived quickly. When he jumped down to the deep sea, he saw something danger. What's that? He nearly choked. What do you mean by choked? It means became unable to breathe or speak because of strong emotion. He saw something. What's that? That is our tiny turtle. He was twisting and turning in a section of fishing net. Tiny trapped in a fishing net, and a silver hook. It planted in the back leg of this tiny turtle. Mana was really shocked. Wait, Tiny, I cried. I'll help you, but you have to trust me. Tiny stayed perfectly still, but I could see the pain in his eyes. My hands were shaky, but soon I gently pulled the hook free and the net came away easily. Tiny was safe. Then what happened? Yes, Manav told Tiny that Tiny, I'll help you. Don't be panic. I'll help you. You need to trust me. That time Tiny stayed still. Okay, so he understood that Manav is going to help him. It was really painful that Manav could see the pain in Tiny's eyes. Then what he does, hands were shaky, his hands were shaking, but soon he gently pulled the hook from Tiny's leg and the net came easily. The Tiny is safe. I gathered up the net as I didn't want any other turtle getting caught. I suddenly realized I had been away from the beach for quite some time, so I waved to the turtle family and rose to the surface. What do you mean by gathered up? It means folded and picked up. So he gathered up the fishing net which he take out from Tiny because he wanted to save all other animals underwater. So he gathered all the nets from there, and suddenly he realized that it's been too late. His parents were waiting in the beach and he's so far from the beach. So he decided to go back to the beach and he waved to the turtle family that he is going, and he said goodbye to them and he rose to the surface of the sea. But the beach seemed so far and my parents were just tiny little dots. I had never been so shocked or frightened in my life. Tears filled my eyes as I tried to keep moving my hands and feet. They felt as if they were made of irons. When he rose up the sea, he saw that his parents were standing in the beach. They seemed like small dots. Means he's so far from the beach. He started crying. He don't know how to reach there. And when he started to move, he felt his hands were made of irons because he cannot move because of that fear inside. Okay, then what happened? Next page, page number 28. Tiny, I cried. I'm so tired and the beach is so far away. I simply can't swim back. Suddenly, I found a huge turtle beneath me. I gently reached down to hold the edge of her shell and she started to move slowly. I held my breath and we soon started moving through the water easily. I found that Tiny followed us too. It was a ride I would never forget. So he told this matter to Tiny. Tiny, I need to go back. I can't swim. What can I do? That time he saw a huge turtle, a big turtle came there and he gently reached down to hold the edge of that turtle's shell. He grabbed that turtle's shell and slowly they moved to the beach and the turtle also followed him. And I held my breath. What do you mean by held my breath? It means waited with hope or fear. Okay, so he has a fear in his mind but also have a hope in his mind that this big turtle will help him to go back to the beach. Okay, I spotted my worried parents walking up and down the shore waiting for me. As soon as it was shallow enough for me to stand, Tiny and the big turtle moved away. I stood on shaky legs and as I looked back, Tiny poked his head out of the water and gave me one final smile. What do you mean by shallow? It means not too deep. Okay, so when they nearly to the beach, Manav saw his worried parents. His parents were very sad because it's been a long time that Manav went to the sea and he's so far away from them. So they were very sad. So Manav could see them, that is the worried parents. They were standing on the beach. And this Manav reached the space where he can stand in his leg, this big turtle and tiny turtle, they moved back. Okay, so when Manav looked back, he saw that Tiny was poked his head out of the water and gave a final smile to Manav. Okay, so that was a help done by this tiny turtle. Once he helped this tiny turtle to escape from this net, then this turtle family helped Manav to go back to the beach. Okay, that was the last time I ever saw Tiny, but it was the best day of my life. I told my parents what had happened and even showed them the net, but they just thought I'd been playing imaginary games. So he's saying that he'll never forget that day. And that was the last day he saw Tiny Turtle. And he told all this matter to his parents and also showed this net. Okay, net which is caught Tiny, and he also showed this net, but his parent didn't believe him. They saying that he was playing imaginary games. Imaginary means something is not real. He was lying, or he is saying some imaginary stories to them. Okay, I still have that net today, but have never told anyone else my story. I knew nobody would ever believe me except maybe you. So the narrator, the writer is saying, Manav is saying that I still have the net today. Okay, so the net is with me. Manav is saying that that net is still with him. And he never told this story to anyone, but because no one will believe him except you. Which means the people or the children who is reading the story, he hoped that you will believe this incident, this story of Manav. Okay, so children, I hope you all understood this story. Here we can see the relationship between Manav and this tiny turtle, that is a human being and an animal. Once this tiny turtle he trapped, and this Manav helped this tiny to escape from the net. As a gratitude, this turtle family, they helped Manav to go back to the beach to reach his parents. Just like that, we have to love and protect this nature. Okay, children?
Let's discuss the word meaning. Bulky, it means large. Wobbled, move unsteadily from side to side. Slimy, greasy or sticky to touch. Basking, lying in a place that is warm. Dizzy, faint. Thrust, pushed out or in with force. Plunged, jumped or dived quickly. Choked, became unable to breathe or speak. Shallow, not too deep.
So write the word meanings in your notebook and don't forget to read the textbook. We'll meet next day. Until then, take care and bye.